Yeah, you can lie about it, but it's not gonna change a thing. Maybe you'll try to hide it. Pull down the curtain where the light comes in.
Hello everyone, Lance Mikkel from Refocus on Happiness. Steve Martin has a great phrase. He says, be so good at what you do that people cannot ignore you. I'm going to show you a world that I'm going to make it so obvious what I represent for you. I believe the only reason you would not want to move forward is if you're quite frankly just a glutton for punishment. At the end of the day, let's just be very clear with each other. You want to feel fantastic. When you feel great, you speak great. When you feel great, you make different decisions. And when you feel great, you don't say or do things you shouldn't be saying or doing. It does not matter what you know. It only matters what you can do. And if you cannot control your emotional states and how you feel, you effectively know zero. When you feel like crap, how are you going to stop yourself from saying things and doing things you shouldn't be saying or doing? That doesn't even make sense. So if you are sick and tired of all the concepts you know and the great ideas, but you can't control those emotions, you're tired of not being able to execute, if you're tired of not feeling great, well then I'll show you a world that you wish you got introduced to many years ago. Even the first week, you'll have an experience that is indisputable. And here's the good news for you. At the end of the day, what I teach people, it's not a concept, it's a conditioning. You might talk about your mindsets and all these different things you're trying to do, but if you can't control the way you feel, conditioning actually makes that mindset possible. You can't speak how you don't feel. You can't make decisions align with when you feel like crap. This is what addresses it, the core, the biological core. And what's cool is what you're going to see in this video here is a lot of people you go to for your healing, your classic doctors and therapists and counselors, they come to me, they do my program. But again, I'll make this very obvious for you. So if you decide after you watch this video that what I put in front of you is pretty freaking obvious, happy to have a conversation. And in that case, look forward to speaking to you soon.
Because I remember calling you and telling you I had not loved myself in 30 years and I just want to love myself. And you're like, I don't do that. Yeah. I do remember you saying that, like, okay, well, what do you do? Type of thing. But it's, I guess I didn't know how to put it into words of what I was really looking for. I just hated feeling like crap. Mm-hmm. And the fact of what I was doing was not working. And, it is an investment, but I finally hit a breaking point where I was like, I need to do something different that I've never done before. I am worth the investment. If mm-hmm. I am investing in anything else but me, then there's no point in investing because I'm the most valuable thing mm-hmm. for myself. And so with all this in the process, that's kind of what I learned is if I don't invest the time in myself, then I can't be the best version of myself for anybody.
Yep.
And so that was kind of an epiphany. And it's like, I came to you because I had broken up with someone, was in another relationship, and I finally came to terms with, I'm the common denominator. Mm-hmm. So I am the only one in all of this, in this cyclical pattern where I am the common denominator. It can't just be everyone else. It has to do something with me. And I was like, I need to do something. And you were my something. So.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. And that's why, there's many reasons why our conversation, our first one, was so memorable. And I mean, you rocked and rolled very, very fast. You were killing it even the first 2 weeks. Now, granted, it's so important for people here on this, whoever listens to this call here, you and I did have some blips along the way too. We did have some challenges. This was not a magic trick. I'm sure you can tell that, not a magic trick. We had some challenges along the way, and that's okay. And actually, I get excited when I have challenges with someone like yourself, and people think I'm crazy in that way. But I'm like, why else would I want you to have challenges along the way unless I wanted you to see and experience how powerful you're really becoming? I want that. Sure, it's more work for me if you want to look at it that way, but that ensures you get the outcome that I promised you. And so it's actually a good thing. It's for the greater good. But yeah, when I speak to someone the first time and I hear something like what you said, where I want to have help loving myself, I'm like, that's not what I do. I can't do, no one can do that for me. And this is great for anyone listening here. For anyone who thinks, if everyone says they are having a hard time loving themselves, listen, I'm going to make this really clear here. No one's program can fucking do that for you. My program does definitely not do that for you. If you wanted to love yourself and believe you deserve the best financial future, well, what someone who loved himself and believes himself would do. You might, quote unquote, enroll at Harvard. You might say, hey, I deserve a Harvard life. I deserve Harvard opportunities, a Harvard education. Great. Well, Harvard's not going to help you love yourself as far as what you are capable of financially. That's not what Harvard does. Harvard is the best tools. And again, Harvard is the analogy for the best. But Harvard's not going to help you love yourself financially or feel abundant financially. Harvard is essentially the door, the gateway. But you loving yourself in that realm would be, you know what? I deserve the best. I deserve the best tools. I deserve the best opportunities. Fuck it. I'm going to enroll in Harvard. I'm going to pay the price that Harvard requires. And that is loving yourself. So when I spoke to you, I said, I got the best tool in this area, Bree. I mean, I can teach you a process to condition yourself where, you know, what you're going through is really not an issue at all. It's a non-issue. And for the first time in your life, your ability to enjoy your relationships without pressure and stress. I mean, you wish you did this a long time ago. But that's a creme de creme tool. But you loving yourself, that you give by actually saying, you know what? I deserve this. I deserve the best. And if that means that to get the best is going to cost more than $10, so be it, because I deserve it. Right. And I always want to make it clear to people, you know, that's loving yourself is something you do. And for some people, I'm that doorway. For some people, I'm that doorway, like Harvard in some case, I'm that doorway to really be a true vehicle to act like you really believe that. And I tell people all the time, like, you're going to see your whole life will change the day you actually act like you really believe it. If you think all you're worth is a fucking book or some kind of nonsense webinar-a-thon, well, then that's why people suffer. But the first day someone actually says, you know what? I am willing to invest in myself in a real way, in a scary way, because make no mistake, a $10 book ain't a fucking investment. A fucking cookie or a chocolate bar before or warm bath before bed is not an investment. An investment should be scary. It should be, you know what? I'm a little nervous about this. If you don't feel that way about it, you're not walking the walk. So when you and I spoke, you know, I wanted to be really clear here because I wanted to overmanage your expectations. I will make sure, if you remember, if anything, I actually kind of overmanage expectations. I make sure you understand there's no unicorns in the next room. There's no birds chirping fly over your head. This is a serious, serious program. And I said, listen, I don't do the loving yourself thing. That's you, but I can be your doorway. And that's really what that was about. But to anyone listening, ultimately, you know, to have your best life, it's not complicated. You want to be your best. You want to have the best life. You need the best tools. And if you need the best tools, how the hell would you do that without working with somebody who knows how to transfer that skill set from themselves to you directly? And how would you learn that unless that person is working with you personally, making sure, hey, Bree, you're doing it right. No, Bree, you're not doing it right. That's the way it is. But loving yourself is saying, you know what? I deserve to have this opportunity to really have the best tools, to have the best shot in life. And holy fuck, Bree, you've come a long fucking way. Even the first 2 weeks, you remember, first 2 weeks into it, you know, it was a little tough in the beginning. And again, it is a workout. It is what it is. But 2 weeks into it, you were already reaping the rewards. You remember you had not gotten a sale in what you do in a few months, if I remember correctly.
And several months, and the pressure was on, and I had a shitty attitude, and I got in trouble at work to the point where my job was being threatened. And as a single parent, you know, it's like, I can't have that. And so, which I had already started working with you. And then, you know, the incident happened and you walked me through it and we talked, and it went a hell of a lot better than what it would have gone if I hadn't started this program. I probably wouldn't have a job right now. I can 100% say that. If I didn't have the tools that you gave me and taught me in order for me to overcome that challenge and be able to just put myself in a different mindset to be able to handle the criticism, be able to handle what was coming at me. But the glorious thing about that was I have the best sales that I've had since I've been with the company. And now it was kind of like, shove it in your face. Like, I know what I'm doing. Yeah. And I loved it because it was very gratifying for me. It was something where I was like, okay, Bree, you are trained, you know where you're going. You have the tools, just stay the course. Just stay the course, be consistent with your practice. It is working. And there are days where it's very challenging because I did hit, you know, some challenging points, but then when I was able to overcome them, I appreciated them that much more, and I appreciated the practice that much more, because it gave me the confidence, like, okay, I can overcome this. I can keep going. And it actually made me feel even better. I felt, after the challenges, I felt even more exhilarated and more confident in myself. And that's really what I need to continue. It wasn't about loving myself. It was just having a different mindset and the tools to use to build my confidence even more. And so it's like you've said, you know, you're always going to have challenges. Workouts are hard. Yes, they are hard, especially ones that you've never done before. You know, it's just starting something new. Anything that you start new, it's scary, it's frightening, but you know, you feel the fear anyways, and you just go with it and you do it. And so, and the benefit on the other side is just, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm just more present with the little things. Like before, I was just rushing through my day and trying to get to the end result, or trying to think 6 months in advance instead of just focusing on the now, focusing on being present. And it's like some of the slides say, where the fuck are you rushing to?
Yeah.
And I just had that mentality. I always like, gotta get the next best thing. Well, the next best thing is now. The next best thing is enjoying what you have now and being present in your blessings that you have now in front of you. Because if you don't enjoy the blessings now, how do you know those aren't going to be the best blessings? You know what I mean? Like, it just makes me more aware of things. And, you know, the universe is rigged in my favor. Sure, it always has been. I just wasn't paying attention. I was brushing it to the side, but now it's like, no, I just need to be present in anything that comes my way and appreciate it, whether they're challenges or blessings. In my opinion, how I look at everything now is like, it is a blessing. It's either teaching me something or it's giving me a benefit. And that's really my biggest takeaway. And it's just given me a whole new perspective just on life in general, not focusing on the negative, focusing on the positive. And I know for a lot of people that probably sounds super cliche, but it really does. When you change your mindset that way, things start coming to you that you never noticed before. You know, the different people, how they treat you, how they speak to you, because of just your attitude in general, you know. And it's something where a lot of people don't notice it because they're just rushing through their day. But if you actually take the time to just slow it down, stop and think and appreciate, there's just going to be more blessings coming your way, is how I look at it.
Wonderful. So I'll add some here. So to everyone listening here, Bria said a few words here that to you guys might, you know, like she said the word mindset and she said the word presence. And some of you might think, oh, I just need to read another book on presence, or need to read some more mindset stuff. What allows Bri to actually act this way, not think about it, act this way, is being even more descriptive. She has a conditioning. She is now wired to act this way. It's, to be clear, guys, mindset means it's set in the mind. More specifically for Bri's case, she has a process that allows it to be conditioned, wired in the mind. Just like you condition a muscle, she is conditioned, wired biologically, her mind. That's what makes it easy for her to execute. If you think a fucking book on presence or mindset is going to do it, no. She actually has this stuff ingrained with the process she does. That is what allows her to have her mind set, or more accurately, conditioned in. That's the difference maker. Don't think you can watch this video here and read another mindset book. It's a conditioning process. That's ultimately what this is. And that's what allows her to actually live at another level, because she's able to feel at another level, because she's conditioned at another level. There you go. Beautiful. One last thing I want to add to anyone listening to this here. Bri came to, like she said in the very beginning of the call, she came to this program for relationship challenges. She did not come to this for business, for work, for parenting, or any of that stuff. but she'll be the first one to tell you she knocked out the fucking ballpark in all the areas because, it's like I tell people, when you address the core conditionally, from a conditioning standpoint, your emotional conditioning, your energy, that has overarching cascading impacts on everything you do. So it's not a coincidence. Many people like Bree who do this course, all of a sudden, they're just showing up at a different level. They make different decisions. They speak differently. Their whole life changes. So it's not a coincidence. Someone like Bree, who even though she didn't come into here specifically for business and her career, because she's feeling better, because she's conditioned better, she's doing better at work. And that's why she was able to go from even just the first 2 weeks from not having really a lot going on for a while to all of a sudden like 4 sales back to back. And now she's crushing it. Now her and I are talking about how to kind of relax a little bit and enjoy it more. I mean, may that be, those are called rich people problems. And I'm sure a lot of you listening to this call would love to have that. And again, I have enough of these, if you guys have watched enough of these calls here, you see this happens to almost everyone. Almost everyone gets promotions, business opportunities. It's not a coincidence because when you address the core, your conditioning, and you address your emotional energy, you just show up at a different level. And that's what allows your whole life to shift. But if we come back full circle to the very beginning, ultimately Bree decided, you know what? This is an expensive course. It is what it is. But you know what? I'm worth it. If not now, when? And that was the day. And that's when everything starts to change. And most people, for the record, even though this is not a cheap course, most people, by the time they finish the program, I would say a good part of them actually paid for the program during the program. Because if they look at the bonuses, the promotions, it pays for itself. So, you can try and, treat yourself to anyone else, or you can treat yourself like a second-class citizen and not go all out for yourself, but that's not loving yourself very much, is it? And then is it really a surprise if people don't treat you at the level you deserve, not just in your relationships, but all aspects of life? But it's almost like the universe is waiting for you to finally say, you know what? I really do believe. And that's when all the doors open. But bottom line is everything she's experiencing is because it's biologically conditioned in, wired in. Just like you train your muscles, she's trained, conditioned her brain. She's literally Bree 5.0. And that's what allows her to live at that level. So very, very important here. So on that note, anyone watching you here, Bree, it's very clear. You look great. You look radiant. You look powerful. Can you believe how far you've come in just 6 weeks? If you look at where things were, when you and I first spoke about 6 or 7 weeks ago, are you almost kind of, do you believe it?
I believe it. And I was thinking about that this morning when I was doing my practice. And I was like, wow, I've never been on this level before mentally. Mm-hmm. It's something where it almost feels like an out-of-body experience. Mm-hmm. If that is, I don't even know what that's like, but if I were to put something to it, I would say this is the closest, because it feels like I don't even know who my old self is anymore.
Yeah.
I don't, I'll even, I've looked at pictures even from a year ago. I'm like, don't even know that person. Don't even, and it's not, this isn't ego driven or anything like that. It's just no, I'm finally really owning it. I'm owning me, I'm owning myself. And like you said, I'm not paying to say this, and yeah, it's a lot of money, but like you said, I've already paid for it. I'm reaping the rewards. I'm reaping the benefits, not only from a financial standpoint, but my relationship with my daughter, my relationship with my coworkers, my relationships with my friends, the gas station attendant, the store clerk, how I look at, I appreciate people, I'm not rushing. Like I said, I'm not rushing through it. I'm taking the time and talking to people and getting to know them. And, I've had several people that have known me for years, and they're like, okay, we like this Bree. We like the other Bree, but we really like this Bree. What did you do with old Bree? And I'm like, really, it's just, it really is just focusing on the present. And like what I've told you before, it's like I was known as this high achieving at the workplace, but that was all I was known for. People didn't really know me for me. Even some of my closest family and friends, I never really let anybody in. And now I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I torture myself? Like I have no reason to be that way. I am, you know, other people's light. So why not share it? Like that to me is priceless. And so like your course, yes, there's a monetary value, but you get so much more than that. And that's where it's like, it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling of I'm not done. Like I will never be done with this, but it's more of now what can I do? Now I can even go to the next level. And some people are probably like, well, what's the next level? I'll be like, I don't know, but I'm excited for it, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and I just have a new perspective on life itself. And like, especially for my daughter, you know, I put so much pressure on myself for being this awesome example. And I was beating myself up and I'm like, but why? You know, and the proof is in the pudding. Like Braylee gets on the trampoline now and she's like, I'm Rocky Balboa. I got the will and I got the skill. And I recorded her. And that just brings me something simple like that for your child to say that. Like I'll play that over and over all day long. Yeah. And it just instantly just puts a smile on my face because I'm like, I am changing for the better. I am setting an example for her at such a younger age. Like I wish I had that at that age. And now I'm like, well, what is she gonna be, man? And she's already exposed to this stuff. Like, you know, and every parent's dream is always to have their kid be better than them. I think that a lot of parents say that, like they want them to succeed even farther. That right there alone, just in that simple phrase of I got the will and I got the skill, and she really like intensely says it.
I've heard it.
It's just gratifying because I'm like, okay, I know I'm doing the right thing. Like if my kid literally wakes up before me some days and is like, don't forget to do your workout. I'll play the music for you. I'll get the music going for you. And like, it's that to me is probably the most gratifying thing. And that was the other thing that I came to working with you on this. That's what's funny is like, I benefited so much more. And so I am forever appreciative of it, for sure. For sure.
How cool is that? It made you a better mother, improve your relationship. You didn't even see that coming.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, the stigma of the single parent and, you know, the whole society thing gets in your head. And I'm like, fuck that. Yeah. Like, I'm going to prove all you people wrong. And that's, I've always had that tenacity and that will. I didn't use it in the best way, but now I'm more confident in myself on how to use it to where it will benefit me the most. And so that's what I'm really excited about. Like, I'm not so worried about my future anymore or focusing so much on what's so far ahead of me. I'm just more focused on enjoying the small victories, enjoying, you know, what I have right in front of me, because I know that I'm going to be continued with blessings. That's kind of my new take on things. So, and I'm excited about the challenges. Bring them on.
They're coming. Don't worry. They're coming.
I know they're
but
coming.
remember, Superman's only Superman because of Lex Luthor. You'll show up a different level. You know, that's it.
That's
They're actually
true.
really enjoyable, and you'll find it's incredible. You'll find even when you have the challenges. And again, I'm so excited to have you on today's call. Like after this here, but because again, a lot of stuff from what you and I talked about before. But anyway, when you even have those challenges, or whatever, you'll be almost surprised. You'll get so good at this. You'll get surprised where you'll see how quickly they melt away. No matter how big they seem instantly, you'll appreciate how your old self would have gone into the fucking program, into the pattern, into that old self, and how the new self's just like, I could just wipe this away right now. I could just, no matter what's going on, I could just wipe it away right now. It's almost like a mind fuck where it almost blows your mind that your old self would have been completely just hijacked from that, and the new self's like, I can still feel good right now in like a second, simply because I'm conditioned that way. And that's that. It's amazing. Like, you know, I tell people, you know, all the time, you know, whether it's you, when I first start, like, this is not a magic trick. You're still gonna be a human being. It's a different type of conditioning process, different type of workout. You know, at the end of the day, things are still gonna happen, but your ability to respond is a whole different level. And what you're really experiencing from a conditioning standpoint, again, from anyone listening here, is you're just experiencing different levels of control, where your ability to feel bounce back is just becoming much more of a skill because it's conditioned that way. That's why you're able to do that, because you're biologically conditioned that way. And all that happens is just like a muscle. The more that muscle becomes stronger, the more you are capable of from a athletic potentiality. And, you know, as you can do more things with your muscles, it just makes you feel really good about yourself, because you can see all the things you can do. You can lift more weight, more repetitions, you do more really cool tricks. But that's really what you're doing for your mind. You're just making your mind more and more of like this this conditioned athlete, just incapable of incredible things. Where, you know, even yesterday, for example, you know, I had a lot of stuff going on yesterday. Yesterday was, you know, again, I'm a human being. I got challenges. I don't get away without having those. And I had a lot of stuff come at me yesterday. Things that were not so pleasant, whatever. It was really awesome and beautiful, and you'll experience it at different levels as you continue to condition. It's like within about, I'd say maybe within about 30 seconds, I'm like, this stuff, it's just a true recognition. That stuff years ago, it just totally flew me through a loop. But now I'm like, I just feel good. I can literally just wipe that away in like 2 seconds, because just like a conditioned muscle, if that muscle's conditioned, yeah, okay, you did a set of whatever, but after that set, you feel good again. You're just good and strong because you're conditioned that way. It is a conditioning that allows you to bounce back quicker, stronger, you know, in those ways. But that's why you experience that. And as you continue that conditioning, Bree, that's why you experience the feeling of higher and higher levels. It's fucking amazing. So this is literally just the beginning. And the reason why, you know, you almost felt like you're living some kind of out of body experience is because the actual truth is, and again, I can relate this I do what I do for a reason. The real accurate truth is, you weren't really present to your life for many years. Neither was I, where you're literally just going through the motions. You're on an autopilot. It's almost like you didn't even know what it really felt like to truly be present to your life and truly act from a truly conscious aware being, like truly like in command of their own command center. It's like you lived in autopilot your whole life. So all of a sudden, for the first time in your life, Bree, you're really living.
Yeah.
You're really living. And that's why it feels like such an out of body experience. The real reality is you're actually more in your body than you've ever been.
Right. Like I'm just more aware. It's funny.
Yeah.
Like I am a clean freak. The old me is a clean freak. Got to have everything just so, and this and that. And I would just, all my time, I was like, I'm just wasting time. And I would get so bent out of shape about the littlest, stupidest thing. Now my house is a disaster. Well, not really a disaster, but like if it is a mess, I'm like, I don't have to get to it right this second. Mm-hmm. I can get to it later. And then I make it into a fun game now. And now my daughter actually helps me. And it's, you know, we put on music, and by the time we know it, things are picked up and done. But like, I'm not exhausted from it. Mm-hmm. I actually have more energy, and we got time to go do this. Well, let's just go do this. We got all this done, you know, and being able to reward ourselves. And my daughter has special needs. She's ADHD, and I hate that. I hate labels. And it's something where this has even helped her regain focus. And she has had more days in a row than she's ever had in school of good days. But we celebrate it every day. Mm-hmm. And before I wasn't. I wasn't celebrating, nothing like that. And now we celebrate every single day. And it's like, it gives her the strength and the encouragement to keep going. And it's like, I'm getting less phone calls from school and these people worrying. And, you know, it's funny. It's like, it's stressful, but now it's not anymore because I was able to change mindset and my perception. But it's a muscle. And that's the biggest probably takeaway that I will have. And the biggest takeaway, whoever is watching this, it truly is a muscle. And if you care about your physical health and you care about your physical appearance and, you know, building muscle and being toned and fit, you need to think that same way about your emotional state and your resiliency and your brain and your thoughts, because that's actually more powerful than your physical muscles, in my opinion. Because if you have that emotional resiliency and that physical, or not physical, but that mental mindset that it is a muscle and I'm training my muscle to get better and better, your entire body is going to benefit. You know, I've been able to lose 25 pounds. I feel better. I'm eating healthier. I'm making more conscious decisions because I'm not rushing around. I'm not rushing through my day. I'm not eating fast food because I'm running out of time. Like, I actually have more time to make my meals and pay attention to things that I just didn't care about because I was on autopilot. And it's something where you can truly benefit in all aspects of your life when it comes to conditioning your brain and conditioning what's wired in your brain. And it's something that it's so simple now. It is so simple now.
Yep.
But before it was like, does this really work? Like, is this real? And then, but when you actually do it, just like training in the gym, you have to start somewhere. You have to be able to begin somewhere and be consistent about it. It's not a one and done thing. Like, this is something that is ingrained in me for the rest of my life till I'm 105 years old. I'm going to do my daily practice. I don't care if I'm wheelchair bound or whatever. I'm probably not going to be just because I'm able to do this now. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's just, this is part of me now.
Yep.
It's a part of me, and I come first. And that's what I literally realized.
You have to come before everybody, because you now see, and again, I have so many people. They before, you know, we speak like, oh, you know, I got kids, I got this and that. I'm like, they're getting a shell of you. You're kidding yourself. You know, you see now in a real way how much better everyone's getting such a better version of you, including your daughter. Yeah. And they weren't getting that.
You actually show up.
Yep.
You actually show up and you live life. You know, you're not going through the motions. You're legit living life and being present and seeing things that you never saw before when you were just going through the motions. And that's just, it makes you real appreciative, you know, just like talked about my ex, he was my catalyst. And it's funny because I had a conversation with him. I told him, I'm like, yeah, you were my catalyst. Like, thank you so much. Like, I am fucking pumped about life. And he goes, well, I'm sorry I was your catalyst. I'm like, I'm not. I'm like, this is amazing. I was like, you were literally meant to be my catalyst. And he goes, oh, okay. I go, I truly believe that. I truly believe.
It's a truth. It's a truth. Yeah.
It is. And he goes, okay. I go, I know it seems weird. And I know it doesn't make sense. Like, you're looking at it as a bad thing. I'm not, though. I said, but if you truly look at the blessings that I got from this, and I started naming off stuff, he goes, okay, yeah, like I like being your catalyst. I'm like, yeah, all right. And so it's funny because people interpret that as a negative thing. And I'm like, no, it's a beautiful, amazing thing. And I literally am so grateful for it that it happened now and not later, you know? And it was funny. He's like, well, I wish you would have known this a year and a half. I go, I don't. I don't, because I wouldn't have been able to experience everything I've been able to experience.
Wonderful.
And so, yeah, it was really, it was a funny conversation, because he was like, "Are you on something?" And I'm like, "No, high on life. That's really, you can get me drug tested, whatever you want. I'm just high on life."
Yeah.
So, but it was really cool. It was a really cool conversation. So, and I'm grateful. Just grateful.